Welcome to our latest adventure, where I took to the skies on what some are calling the world's worst airline. Buckle up as I recount a truly chaotic journey that started with a rough takeoff and never seemed to find its footing. From uncomfortable cabin experiences to a series of in-flight service blunders, you won't believe the turbulence we faced, both literally and figuratively. Join me as I navigate everything from restroom woes to the struggles of customer service, all while reflecting on a travel experience that tested my patience like never before. Let's dive into the madness. 1. A rough takeoff. The journey began with an ominous sign, a delay announced just minutes before the scheduled takeoff. Passengers were left stranded in the waiting area, unsure of when their flight would eventually depart. As I sat among the crowd, I noticed a growing sense of frustration, which was only exacerbated by the lack of communication from the airline staff. The departure board flickered inconsistently, adding to the confusion. It was as if the airline was trying to keep everyone in suspense, much like a magician keeping his audience guessing. The delay stretched into hours, and passengers were left to entertain themselves with their own devices or engage in idle chatter. By the time we finally boarded, patience had worn thin, and the mood was far from uplifting. 2. An uncomfortable cabin experience. Once on board, the chaos continued as passengers struggled to find their seats. The cabin crew, though attempting to be helpful, seemed overwhelmed by the sheer number of people and the limited space. The seats were cramped, barely offering enough legroom for anyone taller than average height. It felt like a sardine can, packed tightly with passengers trying to make the best of a bad situation. The overhead compartments were full to bursting, leaving latecomers with no place to store their carry-ons. The air conditioning struggled to keep the cabin cool, and the stale air only added to the discomfort. The feeling of being trapped in a confined space began to set in, making the upcoming journey seem even longer. 3. In-flight services. A comedy of errors. As the flight progressed, the in-flight services became a comedy of errors. The meal service was delayed, and when it finally arrived, the options were limited and unappetizing. The flight attendants did their best to serve the passengers, but their efforts were hampered by the lack of resources. Drinks ran out quickly, leaving many passengers without even a sip of water. It was as if the airline had forgotten to stock up before taking off. Requests for assistance were met with apologetic smiles and promises to return, which were often forgotten in the chaos. The lack of coordination among the staff left many passengers feeling neglected and frustrated. 4. The turbulence that never ended. As if the cramped conditions and poor service weren't enough, the flight was plagued by constant turbulence. The plane shook and rattled, making it difficult for passengers to relax or even take a nap. It felt like riding a roller coaster that never ended, with each dip and rise causing anxiety to ripple through the cabin. The seatbelt sign remained illuminated for most of the journey, restricting movement and adding to the sense of confinement. Passengers held onto their armrests, hoping for a smoother ride that never came. The turbulence seemed to be the final straw for many, as murmurs of discontent filled the air. 5. Restroom woes. Using the restroom on this flight was an adventure in itself. The facilities were limited, with only a few restrooms available for the entire plane. Long queues formed quickly, and passengers were forced to wait patiently for their turn. The restrooms were small and cramped, making it difficult to maneuver inside. Supplies ran low, and the cleanliness left much to be desired. It was clear that the airline had not planned adequately for the number of passengers on board. The restroom situation became a topic of conversation among passengers, with many joking that it was the worst part of the flight. 6. Landing. A sigh of relief. After what felt like an eternity, the announcement for landing was met with a collective sigh of relief. The descent was bumpy, mirroring the turbulence experienced throughout the flight. Passengers clung to their seats, eager to be back on solid ground. As the plane touched down, there was a palpable sense of relief, as if a weight had been lifted off everyone's shoulders. The disembarkation process, however, was slow and disorganized, adding one last layer of chaos to the experience. Despite the challenges faced, passengers were grateful to have arrived safely, albeit with a newfound appreciation for smoother flights. 7. Customer service. An uphill battle. After landing, many passengers sought assistance from the airline's customer service, hoping for some form of compensation or at least an apology for the ordeal they endured. The response, unfortunately, was lackluster at best. The customer service representatives seemed ill-prepared to handle the barrage of complaints and concerns. It was as if they were caught off guard by the sheer volume of dissatisfied customers. Long wait times on the phone and generic responses only fueled the frustration. Many passengers felt their concerns were dismissed, leaving them questioning whether their feedback would lead to any tangible improvements. 8. A lesson in patience. The experience of flying with this airline was undoubtedly a lesson in patience. From the delayed takeoff to the uncomfortable seating, every aspect of the journey tested the passengers' resilience. The lack of communication and coordination from the airline only added to the challenges faced. It was a reminder of the importance of preparedness and effective communication in ensuring a smooth travel experience. While the flight was a far cry from enjoyable, it served as a valuable lesson in adapting to less than ideal circumstances. Passengers left with stories to tell and a newfound appreciation for more reliable airlines. 9. Reflecting on the experience. Looking back, the flight on the world's worst airline was an experience that won't soon be forgotten. It highlighted the importance of choosing an airline that values customer satisfaction and comfort. The chaos and disorganization served as a stark contrast to the seamless experiences offered by more reputable airlines. It was a journey filled with unexpected twists and turns, much like a novel with an unpredictable plot. While the flight itself was far from enjoyable, it provided valuable insights into the importance of effective communication and planning in the world of aviation. 10. Future travel plans. For those who experienced the chaos firsthand, future travel plans will likely involve a more discerning approach to choosing airlines. The ordeal served as a wake-up call to prioritize comfort and reliability when booking flights. Travelers may find themselves researching airlines more thoroughly, paying closer attention to reviews and customer feedback. The experience may also encourage passengers to pack essentials like snacks and entertainment to better prepare for unexpected delays. Ultimately, the journey on the world's worst airline was a lesson in resilience and adaptability, shaping future travel decisions for those who endured the chaos.